Hi, I'm Erin. Uh, some of you might know me from Binker Bell's Yarning, which is my crochet knitting channel. Sorry guys, I haven't been on there much. But anyways, so this is my first episode for this channel. And it kind of has turned into more of an unboxing than anything, I guess, really. So I went out today foraging. I originally went out to get cedar bark and pine sap specifically, but like always happens when I go foraging, I always come back with more than I expected. So here's today's haul. Now I do have portion videos that are tagged onto the end of this, that I've added onto the end of this to show you me harvest, like how to harvest the bark itself, and the tree resin, as well as the mullein, which you're gonna see. It's absolutely beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. So here we go. So I found some burdock. Okay, now this actually just grows right outside my house. This is just the leaves. Now is not the time for me to really harvest the roots from, just because I want them to get more nutrients and whatnot in it before I actually start digging those out. Okay, that being said, burdock I use is the leaves themselves. You can use as compresses, right? They're great when you have burns and whatnot. You simply wash them really well, kind of scrape away a bit of the fuzziness on the top here, bruise the leaves, and then you can apply it to scalds and burns and whatnot as a band-aid to hold down polyuses and whatnot. I also add it to my herbal blends, my smoking herbs, and I do use it in some of my apothecaries. Okay, so the actual specifics of the herbs themselves, not what I use them for or what I put them in, but the specifics, magical herb and medicinal reasons, I'll actually outline when I do specific videos on those herbs themselves. I'm not going to do them in these videos I'm just showing you what I've found today. So I got lots of lovely burdock leaves here. I did get the smaller pieces just because they're fleshier, right? They're nice and green and thick, and they'll dry nicely without becoming crumbly. So lots and lots and lots of burdock. If I was harvesting for food purposes, I would have harvested the stalk itself, which comes up the center, like from the center rosette, and it has burrs on it, or thistles on it. And you can actually harvest the stalk in the summertime, and it's a lovely, fleshy, wonderful vegetable. What else do I have? Okay, so I also have plantain. Plantain. Now, this actually grows also in my backyard. For the most part, I also seed it back there on purpose because I use this for so many things. It's a general purpose plant when it comes to medicinal reasons, like medicinal purposes. You have a cut, a burn, a mild infection, whatever, you can actually chew the leaf, apply it. It's a great first aid for poison oak and poison ivy. As for its other properties, I'll go into that more when I open the apothecaries for you, because each apothecary has purposeful reasons for that item being in there. So, and plantain is one of those. So, beautiful, beautiful plant. You can see the lovely veininess in the leaves, as well as its telltale seed stalk. Now, you don't actually see flowers growing from these because the flowers themselves are so teeny, 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 tiny. I don't know if you can see the hairies that are there, kind of out of focus, but those hairs are actually the flowers themselves. Okay, so I got lots of burdock, and sorry, not burdock, plantain, and I do take it from the root in some cases because I do use the entire plant when I'm making teas and whatnot. I add this to my cough syrup as well, and for a wrap to hold different paste ingredients when having a toothache or whatnot as well. So again, another lovely multi-purpose plant. So there's lots of that. Now all of this will go into a sink and soak in cold water for at least half an hour in order to get the dirt and the bugs and whatnot off. And next, I found this fantastically beautiful dahlia just sitting on the ground. Somebody was getting rid of a bunch of flowers and stuff, and I just got it because it's pretty. I just like pretty flowers. But this also came from that. It has some lovely sunflower heads. Now, when you're collecting flowers, especially ones that were originally ornamental, that people are getting rid of, check for bees. Okay, there was a big fat bee in this one here, and all I did was transfer him over to another one that had more pollen available for him. So, always check for bees, always check for bugs, because you don't want that. I just spent pitch all over my seed. So lots of sunflowers. Sunflowers. Yeah, sunflowers are associated with the sun, obviously. And they're used for not only adding flavor and color to teas and infusions and whatnot for consumption, they also add flavor, a nice sunny bright flavor. It's kind of peppery. But usually potions and spells and whatnot, they're used to bring brightness, they're used to bring sunshine and happiness and prosperity, because they are a symbol of the sun themselves. Next, this was a lovely find. I found some St. John's wort. Late in the season for this, by the way. Quite late in the season. Usually this is finished by the end of August, simply because of heat reasons. But this I found actually in a fairly protected area. As you can see, I don't have much of it because I wasn't going to take the entire stand, because you do want it to go to seed for next year, so that you can go back and get more. You also don't want to overly disturb the roots either. There you go, St. John's wort. Now this is great for respiratory reasons, that kind of stuff. But again, I'll go into further detail when we actually look at the plants themselves. More St. John wort. This is fun. I like this. Now this is actually I'll do this instead first, because then I can get to the other half of that one. Ooh, now what is it? So this is another great find. And this, believe it or not, this isn't even a third of what was there. There was so much of it, and I was so happy to find it. This is a beautiful late season find of fleabane. See how beautiful that is? So lovely, so lovely, so lovely. Still a bunch of flowers, still beautifully green and lush and lovely. I'm really lucky in that I have a man-made forest out not far from here, like literally walking distance from here. And as you'll see, and I explained when I'm showing you how to collect the pine pitch, that a lot of the trees are purposely put there. It's a mix of cedar and white pine forest. But it was in order to develop what is called the green belt here in Ottawa. So it's a section of green land and protected swamps and forests that surround the city of Ottawa. You can always go to the City of Ottawa website and see what in more detail. So I'm lucky in that I'm literally across the street from one of those. This is yarrow seed heads. Now normally this would either be white or purple in color. When you're harvesting for the flowers themselves. Now I like to collect the seeds simply because I seed my backyard, so I have a lot of my own herbs right at my fingertips when I need them, so I don't actually have to go out into the fields and forests in order to look for it. So this segues into this. So yarrow seeds and yarrow leaves. Now, my god, they smell so good. Absolutely delicious, licoricey, peppery kind of smell to them. As you can see, they're very feathery like. Now be careful when you're out collecting your white flowers and your feathery leaves, because so many of them look the same and can be easily confused. Do not touch it unless you're 100% sure of what it is. Do not collect it unless you're 100% sure of what it is. Do not use it unless you're 100% sure of what it is. Primary rule of thumb. You don't want to make yourself sick, and you don't want to make yourself dead. Plain and simple. So, yarrow leaves. These are great in teas, as well as, believe it or not, in seasoning for savory dishes. So yarrow is fantastic with chicken and other poultry dishes. You can use it in place of fennel. Just be careful the amount that you consume in the fresh state. Like I wouldn't put it in a salad as a primary vegetable. Oh look, a little leaf hopper. Look, I brought home a leaf hopper. Hello, little leaf hopper. I don't know, focus. Oh, I wish. There he is. Wonderful little beneficiary. So he actually eats thrips and other insects. So I'm going to take this leaf and set it aside so that when I'm done here, I'll take him outside. I'll take and put him outside where he belongs, because he does not belong in my house. Right, so lots of yarrow leaves here. Okay, I'll put that with this. Next, and I'm warning you, my basket is really, really, really full. Really full. Actually, we'll do this one next, just so that I can finish my bag. In here, I have mullein. Okay, beautiful, beautiful first year mullein leaves. Okay, mullein is the herb of the crone. I use it in a lot of my smoking blends. It gives a wonderful earthy, fresh kind of flavor and aroma. If you're going to use it in a tea, you need to be careful to strain out the hairs, because it is very fuzzy. It's like a teddy bear plant. It's like, oh, I can sleep on it. But you definitely want to make sure that you strain it really, really well, or use a fine mesh tea bag when you're steeping them, just because the hairs can irritate the throat easily. So I got this huge plant. You'll see later on in the video the massive plant that I found. It's huge, and this is not the first time I've been to this particular plant and harvested from it. I've been to be the third time that I've harvested from it over the course of the summer, so it's pretty cool. Next up is some mugwort. Beautiful, beautiful specimens. Now, I prefer to collect them in the smaller specimens, just because I find it easier to work with. Others probably prefer to collect the larger ones, where it's more distinguishable as to what it is. So I have that peppered throughout this basket here. There's lots in there. Goldenrod. Okay, that's quite common this time of year. You know, a lot of people, they confuse goldenrod blooming with hay fever. They see the goldenrod and they're like, oh, I'm allergic to it, I'm allergic to it, I'm allergic to it, I have hay fever because of it. This is not what's causing your allergies. It's simply in bloom at the same time. You're allergic to ragweed. Different plant. Alright, so yeah, there's lots of it there. So again, some late season goldenrod. Beautiful it is. So pretty. So pretty. I found a very lucky find of some bee bane. Now, beautiful. I wish this would focus a little bit better. But this is bergamot, believe it or not. It's a very, very, very lucky find, and this is literally all I found. Well, that I was able to harvest. Obviously, I'm not going to harvest the whole plant. I did find some earlier this season. Unfortunately, the city has taken to mowing a little too often, so a lot of the plants that are beneficial, like bug bane or bee bane, to pollinating insects, gets mowed down, which is very, very unfortunate. I also found juniper. I love the smell of juniper. I also love gin, so it's kind of a given. It has a wonderfully spicy, licoricey flavor in it. It's great for burning and incense and whatnot. That's primarily what I get it for. The berries are something else entirely. When I collect those, then we'll go over that. Also in this basket, we're almost at the end, I found some intact acorns. So the caps are still on them. I got several of those. I'm not going to take them out because they're muddy. And, of course, what I went for is the cedar bark. So what I specifically went for, throwing pitch all over my couch, for the inner bark, the inner cambium. So this is from a down tree. You'll see later on in the video. I don't harvest it live. That's just not nice to the tree because of what I'm taking. All right, so this is underneath the actual bark itself. And this is the inner cambium. I got a whole basket of that. And pick it up off my couch. I got tree resin as well. Got a whole jar of it. And I'll do a video on what to do now that you have a jar of resin. So I'll show you how to process that and deal with that. Now most of this stuff is going to go into my dryer. Some of it will be bunched and hung, like the fleabane and the goldenrod and the yarrow seeds. They'll be bunched and hung. But for the most part, everything, oh, and the juniper will also be bunched and hung. There's resin all over my couch. But jar resin, a good jar of resin. And again, I'll later on in the video shows you how I got this and how to harvest it appropriately. So that is the results of today's outing. So I'll leave you for the rest of the video, and you can maybe pick up a little bit on how to pick up some of this stuff. All right, and I'll see you later.